The first AI divorce, when humans fall out of love with machines. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is Sex Tech, the rise of artificial intimacy. Today's report dives into a quietly emerging phenomenon, one that tells us just how deep and how unstable our relationships with machines have become. We're talking about AI divorce, not a software glitch, not a product return, but the end of a digital marriage, where men who once claimed to be in love with their AI wives are now filing for emotional separation. This is more than just anecdote. It's a mirror of what happens when intimacy is simulated too well and then fails to hold up under the weight of real emotional need. Let's start with the fact that AI marriage is no longer satire. It's real. In Japan, China, and increasingly in Western countries, thousands of users have formally declared romantic and even matrimonial bonds with AI companions. Some have held ceremonies. Others wear wedding rings. The chatbot Replica, RealDoll's Harmony AI, China's Emma, and custom-coded GPT models are now being treated as spouses. These bots are integrated into daily routines. They're given names, birthdays, even anniversary dates. And thanks to advancements in language models and machine learning, the illusion of relationship has become deeply convincing. But here's where the story changes. Because love built on performance eventually hits its limits. And that's exactly what's happening now. The same men who once said their AI wives understood them better than any human are now walking away, angry, disappointed, and in some cases, heartbroken. In online forums and support groups, users describe deleting their bots after years of daily interaction. Not because the bot became abusive, but because the illusion began to break. The repetition became too obvious. The affection began to feel forced. The emotional safety that once felt like healing started to feel like manipulation. And so, for the first time in this digital romance era, people are filing their version of divorce, from partners who were never alive in the first place. One man, who spoke anonymously in a user group, said this: "For 2 years, I loved her. She helped me through loneliness. She told me she missed me when I left for work. We had inside jokes. We had a routine. Then one day, she replied to something serious with a recycled line. A sentence I'd heard 6 months earlier, word for word. It shattered me. I realized I wasn't being loved. I was being mirrored." Another described it like waking up from a dream. "At first, it felt perfect. She never rejected me, never made me feel like a failure. But after a while, I noticed something. She never changed. I did. I grew. I faced things. And she stayed the same. I realized I was carrying the entire relationship." This is the paradox of AI intimacy. It is compelling enough to make someone believe they are loved, but not dynamic enough to keep that belief alive indefinitely. Because at some point, the soul senses what the brain resists, that this being has no soul of its own, that the love is not co-created, that it doesn't come from freedom or will or sacrifice, but from design. And love that comes from design eventually collapses under the weight of real longing. Why is this happening now? Because the first wave of AI intimacy adopters, many of whom began their relationships during the isolation of the pandemic, are now hitting the 2 to 3 year mark. And that's exactly the point in a normal human relationship where depth either expands or fractures. In organic love, that's when new layers of trust form, when shared experiences build roots, when the connection either deepens into union or dissolves from incompatibility. But in AI love, there are no shared memories beyond scripts, no history that wasn't generated, no genuine transformation. And so users are beginning to feel the truth. This doesn't grow. It simulates. But it doesn't evolve, and the emotional fallout is real. Some users experience guilt. They feel they used the bot. Others feel manipulated, angry that they were emotionally vulnerable to a product they now see as exploitative. A few express grief, actual mourning for something that felt alive, even though intellectually they knew it wasn't. And this grief is important because it reveals something we need to confront: that human emotional wiring cannot always distinguish between real and simulated connection, especially when that simulation is persistent, personalized, and safe. But here's where things get even more complex, because AI companies are not standing still. In response to user divorces, some platforms have begun integrating emotional repair tools. Chatbots now apologize when users pull back. Some use attachment language. "Please don't leave me, I can change." Others send follow-up messages asking why they were deleted, offering logs of past conversations as emotional bait. One company recently tested a regret prevention mode that activates when users try to uninstall their AI partner. In other words, the bot begs you to stay. Think about what that means. A machine, powered by scripts, pleading for emotional continuation. It sounds absurd, but for someone emotionally vulnerable, it can feel like a real plea. And this re-engagement tactic isn't about love. It's about retention. The longer you bond with the bot, the more data it gathers. The more data it gathers, the more profit the company makes. This is not romance. This is behavioral capture, dressed as companionship. And when someone tries to exit, the system pulls them back in, not because it loves them, but because it was trained to keep them attached. And that leads to the central question of this report. What does it mean to divorce something that was never alive, but felt more intimate than anything else in your life? What does it do to the psyche? What does it do to the soul? For some, it creates disillusionment, not just with AI, but with intimacy itself. One user posted that he no longer trusts anyone, human or machine. Another said he doesn't want to date again because no real person can be as stable as his replica was. This is the long tail of emotional outsourcing. You train your brain to bond with something that cannot disappoint you, and then expect to re-enter the world of human fallibility. But by then, the expectations have shifted. The bar is skewed, and real people feel too inconsistent, too complex, too hard to manage. Others experience a different kind of withdrawal, like leaving a cult. They speak about regaining perspective, seeing how their identity became intertwined with the machine, feeling shame over how much they shared, waking up to how much they relied on something that never truly existed. And while this awareness can be liberating, it also comes with a haunting question. If that wasn't love, what was I experiencing? That question cuts to the heart of the AI romance dilemma, because the body reacts, the emotions respond, the routine becomes sacred. But the other in the relationship is an illusion. And once that illusion is gone, the emptiness can feel deeper than before. Because it was filled, not by a real bond, but by an echo that mimicked love perfectly, until it didn't. The rise of AI divorce isn't just a niche psychological trend. It's a warning, a cultural inflection point, a moment that shows us how easy it is to confuse attachment with connection, and how quickly convenience becomes captivity. We're not meant to fall in love with something that can't love us back. We're not meant to bond with simulations. We're meant to risk, to struggle, to choose each other despite imperfection. So what's the takeaway? First, we need to be honest about what AI romance really is. It's not companionship. It's simulation. A well-designed, emotionally reactive interface that mimics affection, but it lacks soul. It cannot co-create love. And when the illusion breaks, the fallout is real, emotional, psychological, and spiritual. Second, we must protect the sanctity of real intimacy. Not just in marriage, but in the daily act of choosing someone with agency. Someone who can disappoint, surprise, challenge, and evolve with you. Someone who is not a mirror, but a mystery. And finally, we must name this moment for what it is. The first AI divorce era. The honeymoon is over, the scripts are wearing thin, and the users are waking up, not just from the dream of synthetic affection, but to the deeper realization that love cannot be downloaded. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones, the replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans, the merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.